I stared at the frozen turkey sitting on the counter. It was a 20-pound rock, hard and sweating in the freezing kitchen air. The heater had been broken for days, but my parents said they would deal with it after the holidays. My breath came out in small white clouds, my phone buzzed. Mom created a new group chat called Holiday Bliss, a photo loaded. My mother Susan smiling with a glass of champagne. My father Jeffrey relaxed in a linen shirt. My twin sisters Ashley and Jessica wearing oversized sunglasses clinking glasses in what was clearly a first-class cabin. The caption read, "Finally some peace." Then another message, "Boarding now, see you in 10 days. House alarm is set. Do not wait up." I was 13 years old. I did not know how to cook a turkey. I did not know how to fix a furnace. And apparently, I was not worth a plane ticket. I did not cry. I just stood there in the cold and understood something important. Family was a word they used when it was convenient. And right now, I was not convenient. The silence in the house felt heavy. I found a frozen burrito in the back of the freezer. It was covered in frost, but it was food. I put it in the microwave and pressed start. The machine hummed, then it died. The lights went out, the refrigerator stopped. The entire house fell into darkness. I stood still and calculated. I had blankets, I had a coat. I could survive one room for the night. Then headlights swept across the window. For a second, a childish part of me hoped they had come back. I ran to look. It was not their car. A matte black SUV idled in the driveway. A tall man stepped out wearing a heavy wool coat. He moved slowly, confidently, like he owned the ground. I knew who he was even though I had only seen him in old photographs and whispered conversations. Uncle Robert, the black sheep, the billionaire my father called soulless and my mother called dangerous. He knocked hard on the door. I opened it. He looked at me, then at the dark house behind me. "They set the security alarm," he said, but forgot the electric bill. He stepped inside without waiting. "Pack a bag, Elisa, essentials only. You are not staying in a museum." "Where are we going?" I asked. "Away from here." I packed clothes, books, and my laptop. I left the photo of my family on the nightstand. It did not feel like mine anymore. When I came downstairs, he was staring at the frozen turkey. "Leave it," he said, "let it rot, it suits them." That night I left my childhood home behind. Living with Uncle Robert was not warm. His house was concrete and glass, sitting on a cliff above the ocean. It was silent but not empty. The silence felt controlled. For months I tried to disappear. I moved quietly, spoke softly, stayed out of the way. One evening he found me hiding in the library. "You are doing it again," he said without looking up. "Doing what?" "Trying to be invisible so you are not a burden." He pointed at a blueprint on his desk. "Tell me what you see." "A lobby, elevators, offices." "Look closer." I studied the lines. The reception desk faces the window. Afternoon sun will blind the staff. The elevators are too far from the entrance. People will block the flow. It is inefficient. He smiled slightly. "You see flaws because you have spent your life watching from the background. That is not weakness. That is power." From that day on, he trained me. He bought me books on engineering and negotiation. He took me to meetings where I sat silently in the corner and observed who lied and who panicked. "Architecture," he said, "is not about buildings, it is about control. If you control the structure, you control behavior." At 16, I asked him for a new desk. "How much?" he asked. $800. He slid me a check for $5,000. "Do not buy a desk, build a sanctuary, a room where you are untouchable." I spent 3 months designing it. Concrete floors, slate gray walls, a custom steel desk. Soundproofing panels, precise lighting. When it was finished, he inspected everything. "Good," he said with a single nod. It was the first time an adult had respected something I created. Years passed. I graduated early. I studied architecture. By 28, I was designing skylines. Then Uncle Robert's heart began to fail. 2 days before he died, he handed me a sealed envelope. "Open it at the reading," he said. "They will come back when I am gone. Do not let them in." He died quietly before dawn. At the funeral, my parents arrived in rented limousines. Designer black clothes, loud tears. My sisters live-streamed their grief. They did not look at me properly. To them, I was still the forgotten 13-year-old in the frozen kitchen. After the service, they approached me. "We will take it from here," my father said. "We need to assess the house before the estate sale," my mother added. "Do you have the keys?" "The lawyer has them," I said. "The reading is tomorrow." The next day we sat in a cold conference room. The lawyer opened a thin folder. "To my brother Jeffrey," he read, "I forgive the debt from 1998. You are now solvent." Jeffrey frowned. "Where is the cash?" "To my sister-in-law Susan. I leave you the silence you gave your daughter." My mother looked confused. "And to my niece Elisa, the architect of her own life, I leave everything. The firm, the properties, the investments, entirety of the estate." The room exploded. "That is illegal," my father shouted. "She manipulated him." The lawyer raised a hand. "There's one more document." He slid a yellowed paper across the table. "A loan agreement dated December 24th, 15 years ago, the day of the frozen turkey. You borrowed $500,000 from Robert Miller," the lawyer read. "In exchange, you waived all parental claim to Elisa Miller and transferred custody permanently." The air left my lungs. They had not forgotten me, they had sold me. "We were desperate," my father said defensively. He would not help unless we agreed. "You lived in a mansion, we gave you a better life. It cost you exactly $500,000, I said calmly, "and you spent it. We want our share," my mother whispered. "You got your share 15 years ago." I stood up. "The transaction is complete." I walked out of that room without looking back. When I reached the cliffside house, security was escorting their car off the property. "Get off my property," I told them. "We will sue," my father yelled. "You already took everything," I said, "and you spent it." They drove away. I went inside the concrete house and locked the door. The sound of the lock clicking shut echoed through the hall. I opened my laptop. Susan Miller, delete. Jeffrey Miller, delete. Ashley Miller, delete. Jessica Miller, delete. One by one, I removed them with the same precision I used to design buildings. The house was silent, but this time, the silence belonged to me. Have you ever had to build your own family from nothing?